All right. Okay, there's our figure right there. And he's all ready to go. There he is. Alright, now what we're going to do, I've got my brushes and my paint and everything like that. And what we're going to do is go ahead and paint him. I want to use my smaller brush here as we go, as we go along. See, I put the little cane on there. So let's go ahead and, which is just made out of a toothpick. Let's go ahead and use a little black for his shoes. We got his shoes done. Now we need to make a decision of a color. Let's give him some gray pants. How does that sound? All right. I'm gonna give him some gray pants here. Get my little gray. As you see, I use the tips of my. I just use the caps of the paint. This is just acrylic paint to paint with. Alright, let's see. There's the gray. Let me hit this. There's a few little places in here. As I get older, my eyes are just not as good as they used to be. I admit that. In small painting. Now, the next thing we want to do, let's go ahead and paint his face, and well, let's paint his hair first, and then let his hair dry. Now, what I want to do is I want to use this gray again on his hair. Okay, I'll show you what I'm going to do. As you see, I continue to dip my I do a little bit at a time. Continue to dip my brush in the water. And I'm hitting it with a gray color, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay. Alright. And we will let that dry. Now I want to go ahead and hit the face because we're going to let that dry with my medium. Where is it? There it is. Oh. This is just a medium flesh is what this is. Back behind the ears. But as you see, I continue to dip it into the water because I want it thin. And I've got to let that dry in there. Okay. Alright. We'll let that dry. Whoop. I've got the hand. I'm gonna tell you what, I go ahead and do the hand here. I want to try to get the face early. All right. Now. All right. Now let's see. What do we do for the coat? I have a burnt umber. Let me see if I can find it here. It's back here somewhere. Let's see. Is that it? No. See if I can find it. We could use that. There it is. There's the burnt umber. Go ahead and make that for the coat. No, that's black. I'm sorry. Oop. Almost made a mistake here. I know I got some burnt umber in here. Let me see if I can find it. I'm in an apartment right now, folks, so I tell you what, that's just a nutmeg brown. I don't want that. In this apartment I have here, it's very small. Here it is. It's very small and very doesn't have a lot going for it. So I remember how I missed so much having my my house where I had everything. And I'm just going ahead, this burnt umber, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little, and really, really thin that up because it's pretty strong. And we're going to go over the coat with it. Alright, I'm going to get a little bit bigger. Just a tiny bit bigger brush here. Okay. I keep hitting it with a little bit bigger, and as I get closer to the, I'll thin up a little bit. Here, getting these bottom areas here. All right. All right. Got the coat. And we got two things left. We got the shirt and we have the tie. Now the shirt, let me go ahead and put this burnt umber up. Burnt umber is a very nice color. It's like a dark brown, but it's got a really strong edge to it. Let's see. What? Oh, that's not what I want. Let's use a little. This is just a little yellow right here, just a tiny bit of it. There's not much of the shirt left, so okay, that's the little shirt in there. Now the tie is going to be, we're going to go ahead and use that rustic red on that. Here it is. That's a little bit. You look at this again. Do something here. I may use that rest around there. This is a rustic red. It's a very light red. And there you go. There you go. Alright, now we're going to use this rustic red to go over the face here in a little while. Now let's look what we just did with the hair, okay? Now I made it a gray color, and then I'm going to go back over it with some white. Give it kind of a like gray hair, kind of turning and you lose water in this. Whoa, I'm sorry. Lay this here. fact, what we want to do is use a lot of water and dilute that white real good. Then we want to hit this with it. Okay? And it gives it kind of a old grayish look to it. Okay. All right. Now, we got to make the eyes. Now to make the eyes, because this is such a small figure. Sure, he's dry. He's dry. I use a small, one of those sewing pins, basically. And they're very, very small. They are. I want to get a little black for this. And what you do is you take and you just barely dip it into that black, not hard, and it's hard to see here because my hand's going to be in the way a little bit because I got to get in there, and you just stick that eye in there. Do the same over here. You stick the eye in there. Okay? Now, you also want to, for the eye to come out, or to look out now, we want to use a little white. So we take and we dip it. We don't want too much white. You just barely get on the tip of this thing. And you got to watch it. It just barely want to tip it. Ah, it's too much again. Just want to hit it. There we go. And on the side of the eyes, just put a little white in there. A little bit more. Put a little white in there. You come over here and do the same thing with this eye. Put a little white. All right, there you go. Okay. Whoop. Put on the wrong top. All right. Now, you have to let the, I got to get the cane. So let's use a little brown, just a little brown for the cane. Let me get a little bit more. I'm sorry. Let me touch it up. Sometimes my eyes, like I told you, my eyes are really, there we go. Okay. My eyes really are not as good as they used to be. I used to have very good eyes, and now I used to have 20/20, but now it's 20/40, and one of them I think is 20/60 in an eye. So my eyes are not as good as they are, not as good as they should be, but it's okay. Now let's go ahead and do the cane, which I'm going to use a brown right here. And use my small brush. I'm just going to dip it in the brown. And I'm going to hit it like that. Okay? Okay. Now, to finish off my figure, I'm going to hit the face with, now what you need to do is let your eyes dry, okay? You don't want to really do this when the eyes are not dry, because you'll run them, is what you do. But you take this red right here, and you take it and you mix a little of it real thin. I mean real thin. And then you take it, make sure that everything's off of that, and you put it on the face. You run it on the face. A lot of that's still not dry yet. I need to really be careful. I need to let it dry a little bit more. This is the thing about, but you run that red, yeah, it's, I don't want to run it because it's going to run into the, really not dry yet. You run that little bit of red over the face, in other words, to give it the look that you want. And I'm going to let that dry now, because I let the eyes dry and everything like that. And then I take a brown wash and I completely go over it. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and let that face dry. I'm going to let it dry for a little while. So it's the way I want it, the eyes and everything like that. You don't want to go, because what you do, you run the eyes. The eyes will start running, the black will run, and you don't want to do that. So, just wait. And I'll show you when it's through what we do. But I said you put the red on the face to get the eyes down, and then I take a brown wash, just like the brown I have here, and I just wash over it, in other words, to give it that look. Okay? All right. Well, I tell you what, let me go ahead and I can do the hand.